Don't you love technology? Oh my God. Now it works.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Have you join us today. I have to apologize. There were some technical issues before when we tried to run the show. I think there's something going on with StreamYard, so I apologize. We've had a great day of broadcasting without any issues, but for some reason at this time of night, I don't know what the problem is, but we're glad that you are here. Welcome. You are watching In the Name of Love, and my co-host, Kimmy Seltzer, has the day off. I am your host, executive producer, director, and broadcast engineer. And when you think about In the Name of Love, that can really mean a lot of different things. It could mean love for self, love for others, love for country, love for community, love for humanity, love for earth, so many different things. And I am always excited about this show because our guests always bring a different perspective. So I'm going to bring out our guest today. She has been very patient backstage as we've had some technological issues, but it's okay because we are here. Welcome, Ihu. And you know what? I was going to say your last name and I'm not going to say it right. So please do share your full name with our audience.
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. It's an honor to be here. And I think when you have technical difficulties like this, it's a sign that it's going to be a fantastic show. I'm really looking forward to our conversation. My name is Ihuaku Nweke. P stands for Patricia, and you can call me Ihu for short.
Well, it's a beautiful name, and I've never met anyone with your name. I also want to let people know that you have been quite busy and quite productive. You're very successful. You are an author. You are the founder at Cedarcube, ICFDP, and you are a designer at I.Kollection. So congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. I'm what you call a multipreneur. So yes, I do have my finger on different pies. And I love it.
And that's very inspirational. That's again why I love doing shows like this. So you heard what I said about In the Name of Love and how it has different significance and meaning for each person. What does it mean to you being here on the show when you think of In the Name of Love?
I think, like you said, In the Name of Love can mean so many different things. I think love is the most powerful human emotion that we can feel. And the opposite of love is fear. And we do everything because of love. It's either because of love or because of fear, you see. So, but love is the highest vibration of all. And if you boil down to it, every human desire, every human purpose that we have, we do it because of love. So people go to work because of the love of their family. People go to war because of love of country. We settle down because of love of a partner, or we fight for our children because of the love for them, and we give them the best. So it's a very powerful thing, and it means all those different things to me. So as you, Dr. Jacalyn, have talked about, I'm all about fashion, fortune, and family. So for me, those are my three main passions and values. And those things, I do them in the name of love. I do what I do for family in the name of love for family. And I've got my, I'm a design and I'm creative because of my love for fashion. And also, of course, we all want to make money. So I also do it for the love of fortune.
Let's start to peel them back a little bit if we can. And then I want to talk about the work that you're doing. So when you think of family, share with us a little bit about your family. Whatever you want to share would be great.
Okay, well, my immediate family, I'm married to an amazing man called Nweke, and he's actually a local councillor now. So he's Councillor Nweke, and we have three sons, Arinze, Kosi, and Chikamso. So they're 14, 12, and 10 respectively. So that's my immediate family. However, I came from a family of four, so I'm the second daughter of two children. I was born to an Igbo doctor, Dr. Ihuaku Nweke, and my mom, Geraldine. She's an accountant. So we were immigrants into the United Kingdom. I came to the United Kingdom many years ago when I was just a little girl of 11 years old. So I was uprooted, as it were, from Nigeria, a very comfortable life in Nigeria, where my dad was actually into politics in Nigeria. We actually came over here into the UK as political refugees. And yeah, so that is a little bit about my early childhood. It's quite interesting, actually. I've written a little bit about my early childhood in a few books that I've co-authored. But it was, I think, that leaving Nigeria and coming to the United Kingdom very earlier on really changed the trajectory of my family and changed the trajectory of my life in general.
Thank you for sharing that. I think it's interesting. We've heard so much about the UK and how it's culturally diverse. And I love that. I remember growing up, I'd go to New York and they'd have outside cafes. And there were people from all over the world, you know, sitting outside talking in different languages. And I was always thrilled and excited by that. So it sounds like the UK is very welcoming.
Yes, the UK is very welcoming. You know, despite what some of the things that we see in the media, for example, recently we saw, you know, some people rioting and causing all sorts of damage, you know, with the football, because we lost the Euros and the few minority who ruined it for everybody else. But I think generally the UK is a very friendly and welcoming, you know, it's a very friendly and welcoming country. Yes, we do have the cafe culture, and I think the mayor of London is trying to create a bit more of a cafe culture now. And I think they capitalized on that with the lockdown that we had when people were indoors, and they tried to pedestrianize a lot of central London. So you've seen a lot of what you see in Europe coming over here in the UK. And people are generally quite chatty when you go on the tubes. You will be able to strike up a conversation with a stranger. I know I certainly like chatting to people on the tubes and, you know, just having interesting conversations. So, yes, and I'm sure there's many people like me as well.
Let's move on to the topic of fashion, which is also a favorite of mine, by the way. I don't get out very much, but because I do all these shows, I get to change in between every show. And so sometimes I'm wearing a full-length ball gown where nobody knows, but I get to quench that thirst that I have for fashion. So what does fashion mean for you?
For me, fashion is the ultimate form of expression, self-expression. I mean, I've always been a very creative person. And what better canvas than yourself to create, really? So I express myself through fashion. I express the way I feel through fashion, through the way I dress. And also, when I say fashion, I talk about my hairstyle as well, and nails, makeup. So it all comes together to create a look, and I really love expressing myself through that. I also like, you know, expressing my imagination and clothes that I've created in my mind through design. So I sketch a lot of designs, and funnily enough, sometimes I actually see some out there designs in my dreams. I get design ideas in my dreams, and when I wake up, I quickly sketch them, and I just love mixing things that people wouldn't think about in terms of in clothing. So, for example, a lot of my line you'll find is very much African fabrics and combined into European cuts. So I really love doing that, and I also love combining different types of fabrics into fashion that you wouldn't actually normally see them. So, for example, I've some of my collections I've combined Indian fabrics into Nigerian designs, or just mixed different types of fabrics into a design that you wouldn't normally see. So for me, I think fashion, you can do anything with fashion. There are no limits, and that's the great thing about it.
And I love what you're wearing today. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I mean, this is a John Lewis jacket, because one thing I do is that I mix a lot of classic things. So I have a lot of classic pieces, and I think it's very important for ladies to have that in their wardrobe. So this is just a John Lewis cream jacket. To be honest, I can't remember what label it is unless I take it off, but I've had it for a couple of years, and it really serves me well. So I have a couple of pieces like this. I have a black blazer, and I have this cream blazer, and this is just a simple camisole top. And funnily enough, this top, I actually can wear it on the beach. So that's the thing about the things that I mix. I mix a lot of things that you wouldn't normally mix together, and they work. And I'm only just wearing a string of pearls. Again, that's a staple thing, and it goes with whatever that you put on. And I noticed that you were wearing a string of pearls earlier on today, Dr. Jacalyn. So that's really one of my go-tos.
I really like the length of the pearls that you're wearing. I think that's something I have to look into. It's beautiful.
The good thing about the length is that you can wear it long, and I sometimes double it up, and it forms 2 rows. So that's why I really love it.
Yeah, it looks great on you. And I really want to talk a little bit about the designs that you see in your dreams. That is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they happen. Most of the time, it's not like I'm thinking of a design before I go to bed. I just see some of these designs, and I sketch them. Some of them are yet to be materialized into a collection or into like a physical clothing. And sometimes it's quite frustrating that I mean, if you dream, you find that, I don't know if you remember your dreams, but sometimes I try to capture exactly what I see in the dream. Sometimes it's more beautiful in the dream than when I've actually sketched it, but I try to capture as much as I can. And if you've ever tried to write down your dream when you're half asleep, or draw when you're half asleep, but I'd rather go through the pain of doing that than forgetting the beautiful design that I've been given by the divine, So I'd rather sort of wake up blurry-eyed and draw it than forget it.
We're going to explore a little bit about that when we come back, more about your designs and what you're doing. And of course, fortune, that's a topic that's near and dear on everyone's mind, especially the pandemic. Hopefully on its way out. But we're going to take a break, and let's keep our fingers crossed that technology will be with us for the break, and then we'll be right back. We're going to actually hear from an artist from the UK. I love to end the day out with this. Her name is ILO, I-L-O, and Licorice Dragon Records is the one that has given us the permission to be able to play this. So let's take a look at ILO. Her song is Heroes in Disguise, which is available on iTunes. We'll be right back.
Picture this, a life where you can leave your pain, a life where you can start again somehow. Picture this, a vision that can change a prayer, happy heart that's always there in the now. Don't be afraid of fear. You know, as long as we're still here, we can be anything larger than life. Rise up from the ground. We can fall down over 10,000 times, then turn it all right back around. We never imagined how good life can be. Inside you and me, we can see past these ghosts in the mirror. We're heroes in disguise. Heroes in disguise. Picture this: losing everything you got, never having had a lot, but holding on and on and on. Don't be afraid to dream, 'cause we are so much closer than it seems. We can be anything larger than life. Rise up from the ground. We can fall down over 10,000 times, then turn it all right back around. We never imagined how good life can be, but inside you and me, we can see past these ghosts in the mirror. Yeah. We can be anything larger than life. Rise up from the ground. We can fall down over 10,000 times, then turn it all right back around. We never imagined how good life can be, but inside you and me, we can see past these ghosts in the mirror. Heroes in disguise. Heroes in disguise. Heroes in disguise. Heroes in disguise. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the Buzz Radio, and the other stations are tuned into.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hello and welcome back. You are watching In the Name of Love, and my guest is Ihuaku Nweke. And we are so happy to have you back. The first part of our show, we talked about a number of things, but your love of family, fashion, and fortune. And we talked briefly about the first two. I think we're going to go back to fashion just a little bit more and share with us about the work that you're doing, because you are a designer, and we want to mention that you're the founder at Cedarcube, ICFDP, and also designer at I.Kollection. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, sure. Before we do, you asked me about my jacket. I think that's the most visible thing. So it's apostrophe. It's a label called Apostrophe.
Apostrophe, beautiful.
That's right. Okay, so in terms of my design and what I do, this is something that I've always had as a little girl. I've always loved designing clothes. If I can't find a design and I go to the shop and I just find it, I'll make it myself or I'll customize it myself. And I've always done that, whether it be scarves, jewelry, actual clothes. And that's how I started designing. I always sketched beautiful wedding dresses, and then one day I dreamt of actually making them. When I was on maternity leave in 2009, I actually saw it as an opportunity to really, really sort of go into and really go into the thing that I really want to do, which was design. By that time, I'd already started a career in procurement, and I started making my own clothes, my own jewelry. I started off with jewelry. So I started making jewelry from my kitchen table, and I started with beaded jewelry. So there was actually a lady from my church at the time who used to make jewelry. So I paid her £100 to teach me how to make my own jewelry, which she did. So I took, I think it was about 6 Saturdays, 6 weeks, and I went to her house in Southgate in the United Kingdom. And every Saturday for about 90 minutes, she taught me how to make my own beaded jewelry. That's necklaces, earrings, bracelets. And that got me making them. I started making the jewelry for my family, especially my mom. Her friends absolutely loved them. And then she started getting me customers. And they all wanted me to make their own, their jewelry for them, and which I did. So I started doing it for sale. I took part in a couple of exhibitions. So I had an opportunity to take part in Collections London for jewelry. And then I displayed there, and I had a couple of contacts from that. So I carried on, and I didn't really just want to stop with jewelry. Sorry, carry on. I didn't really want to stop with jewelry. I wanted to expand into clothing. So fast forward in 2014, I had an opportunity to take a sponsored place as a designer at African Fashion Week London, and that was sponsored by New African Women. It was, I think it was partly sponsored, actually, not fully sponsored. So I thought, wow, because before that I never actually thought of ever participating in such a huge worldwide runway like African Fashion Week London. So I grabbed the opportunity, and this also meant that I had to put together a collection of jewelry of 10 different pieces within 2 weeks. So I stepped up to the challenge, and day and night, I was making all these pieces, and I was able to meet up, and I displayed that collection on the runway at Olympia at African Fashion Week London, and that gave me lots of visibility. And then I also really wanted to sort of bring out a clothing line as well. So again, I had an opportunity the same year in September to display my clothes, or to have a clothing collection at Fashion Finest. Again, I really put together a clothing collection, a clothing line, just for the runway, so that to display my designs. And that was my first clothing collection. So I would say 2014 was really a pivotal year for my fashion, where I was able to kind of display my jewelry and clothes on 2 major platforms. And that really gave me a lot of visibility. That gave me the confidence to actually go out and to really believe that I could do this. 2015, I got picked to display my fashion and what I do at Vogue. I think it was the July version of Vogue. And luckily, I'd done a couple of photo shoots as well, so I had really good images to go and to display my designs. So I did that in 2015, and since then I've been able to showcase some of my fashions with Commonwealth Fashion and a couple of others. So I've had a lot of visibility through that. In 2019, I had another pivotal year, I think. And I would say in 2019, that's what launched my speaking career. So I had an opportunity to speak at Women's Economic Forum, which I did, and I was put at dinner. I sat next to Marie Diamond, who is one of the co-authors of The Secret. And I showed Marie Diamond my designs, and she absolutely loved my designs. And she said, "Okay, well, why don't you make me something? I'm going to come to an awards, a couple of award ceremonies in the UK in the spring. This was in November 2019, by the way. So you can make me something." So I said, "Okay, wow." So I designed for her a custom-made dinner dress. I went to her house a couple of times. I tried it on her, and she absolutely loved my design. And again, that was something that really gave me quite good visibility. And since then, I've been her sort of personal designer in the UK. I've made another dress for her since then. However, I haven't had a chance to really make a lot of bespoke dresses since then, because I think that was the first dress was 2020, March 2020, and then again she had another dress for a winter ball in December 2020. But we all know in 2020 we all were in lockdown, so last year was a little bit slow in terms of the fashion side. And what I actually did was I pivoted. I decided, what can I do? People are not really wearing clothes so much. They're not ordering a lot of things. They're not going to weddings. I need to, or I thought this is an opportunity for me to look at another angle of my business that didn't involve or didn't require products. So I started looking into styling, because naturally I style people, I style myself, I style my husband. And I thought, okay, I'll look into styling. I've got the qualification and the experience as a fashion designer. It's just a natural progression. So I started looking into that. I started putting together a package for styling. And that's really what I've been working on in this last year during lockdown.
Congratulations. What a story. That is outstanding. I love it how you're in the right place at the right time. And by the way, you could have been sitting at that table and not had you could have been shy and not really having any conversation. And then look what happened. That's amazing.
To make it more interesting, Dr. Jacalyn, is where I was supposed to sit, someone else sat there, and I sat there, and then literally Marie Diamond and another lady just joined me. I think it was about 5 minutes afterwards. They just sat really next to me. So that's just how us pans things out sometimes.
That is fantastic. And by the way, I was looking at your website, which is really dynamic. And you offer things that I think are so interesting. You were just talking about the styling, so people can hire you to style them. And then I love this about jewelry classes. You can have a group take jewelry to learn how to make jewelry. I think that's amazing.
Yes, I have. I've done a lot of community work as well around that. So there's young girls who undertake or go into pageants, beauty pageants, and the pageants are really designed to boost their confidence. I think a lot of them are, girls who are sort of underprivileged, and they undertake this pageant to help them to acquire skills and to boost their confidence. And I've done classes, for these girls, just to teach them the skills of making their own jewelry or repairing their own jewelry as well. And it's all, it's just for the community, no charge whatsoever. So I do that as well. But then, some people might want to have a jewelry party for, maybe they want to make their own necklaces for a bridal party, for example. For example, I got married 16 years ago, and I made the jewelry for my whole bridal train. I made bespoke beaded jewelry for my whole bridal train. So that was really unique, because I couldn't find what I wanted for my bridal train in the shops. So I just decided to make it myself. So there might be some brides say, okay, I want something unique. And it's a fun way to bond, for the group. It's a fun way for friends to bond, especially now in lockdown, where people haven't really seen each other that long. So you're learning a skill, and you're actually coming together as a group of friends. So, that's a very constructive way to spend the day or spend an evening with friends, I would say.
And I think you're right. And it also creates that experience that you always have together. Remember when we made our own jewelry? And then I know people have made different pieces for me, from when I was little, and I still have a lot of them. It's like, oh, I remember Susan made that, or Kay made that. And it has special meaning.
I think it does. I think it's done because when you see that, when you see the jewelry, you remember the time that you spent together and the conversations that you had while you were doing it. You see, so
yes,
yeah, it can be
exactly.
Yeah.
And I noticed you also do international shipping.
I do. Yes, I do. I mean,
yeah.
A lot of my clients, especially with the African style clothing, are actually in the US.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. We're going to take, go ahead.
I said, you can order from me, Jacalyn. Now I can make you something bespoke for your shows.
I'm going to talk to you about that. I've got some other ideas as well. So let's circle back on that. We're going to take another break. And when we come back, I want to talk about how and why you started Cedarcube and about the 4 pillars. How does that sound?
That'd be great.
Okay, wonderful. We are going to watch a video from another UK performer, and his name is Tony Moore, and he's actually the manager for ILO, and he just released, I think it was July the 2nd, he released his single, which is his take on Route 66. Tony Moore, let's take a look. In our last segments, we talked a little bit more about fashion, and then we kind of dove right into your work as a designer, an incredible experience you happen to have at an event that really changed your life, and how you have been, you've taken something that has been a passion of yours and you've made it into a business. And I think the work you're doing is really beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then on the other side, you do a lot of work in helping establish strong relationships. So a strong family helps with a strong community, a strong country, a strong world. So
Yeah.
tell us about your work at Cedarcube, please.
Okay, so Cedarcube is the president organization. Is very community based. Even the name Cedarcube means it means something. So the name Cedar comes from the cedars of Lebanon, and so you know, I'm going to get a little bit biblical here, but that's what it is. So this a cedar tree, you know about a cedar tree, grows very deep roots, and it grows very tall, and and very strong, and it's very sort of symmetrical. It's one of the few trees that are just more or less quite symmetrical, and even the leaves are very symmetrical as well. And the cedar tree, as it grows tall, it also grows wide. So it grows wide and it connects to other trees. So there's a very community feel about a cedar tree. And then with the cube itself, when you open up a cube, it looks like a cross, and those aspects, those elements of a cube form the different aspects of a person. So we have the soul at the core. Then you have the relationship with the spirit or the divine, just above the core. Then you have the relationship with our nearest and dearest. So maybe our immediate other, our partner. You have a relationship with the rest of the family. You have our career, then the community. And then when you put all those parts of the cube together, that forms a solid whole. So really, that's what the Cedarcube is all about. It's about being whole as a person and about being balanced and fulfilled in all the different aspects of our lives, starting with our soul. And then really the work that we do with Cedarcube starts very much with relationship with self. So make sure that the self is strong, because yes, we're talking about relationships generally, but you cannot talk about relationships without talking about relationships with yourself first. And this is why a lot of people really end up in difficult marriages and difficult relationships, because they haven't got that love for self. They haven't got that core for self. There's something that's been missing or traumatized or not whole within themselves. And until that is fixed or that is addressed and healed, then all other relationships and everything else will be flawed in their life. So with Cedarcube, I try to address all those aspects, starting with the self. And you touched on the 4 pillars of Cedarcube. So, like I mentioned, now we'll talk about healing. So, healing starting with self, and then if that person is in a primary relationship with a significant other, then that's also healing with that significant other. Bearing in mind maybe that if they've had past hurts, that relationship has been adversely affected, and that will also spill over to children if they have children. So we deal with that healing first, and that healing is done through counseling and therapy. Then we talk about bonding. So bonding would be via events that we have, very intimate events. We haven't really had physical events since the lockdown, but it could be a retreat, for example, where people come out of their immediate environment and really have time to connect with themselves first, with their soul, their spirit, and what they want out of life, and then with their significant other if it's a couples event. and then they can really reconnect as to why was it that they actually, what was it that they like and love about each other. And then we also talk about empowering. So once you're healed, you've bonded, then we talk about empowering. So getting you stronger. So how do we do that? And that's through educational workshops. For example, we have a communication workshop, and a lot of people don't really know how to communicate. And the problems that a lot of couples face, a lot of them are down to communication. How do you communicate? We want to love, but sometimes that intention is not heard by the other, or we haven't got the tools to communicate that properly. So it's all about understanding each other and getting the tools to understand and communicate our truths. So first of all, to our primary partner, and then you can use the tools to communicate in your whole world, because everything we do is all about communication. I'm communicating now with Dr. Jacalyn and with everyone that's listening to this. So once you gain those tools, you can use them in every other aspect of your life. And then the next aspect, or the next pillar of Cedarcube, is connection. So connecting with others. Once we know that we are whole and we're healed, connect with other people, other like-minded people, and that's where alignment comes into play, because like attracts like. And if you're not healed and whole, you're going to attract the same as whatever you are. So once you are healed, whole, and vibrating at a high vibrational frequency of love, joy, and contribution, then you're able to connect with like, and we're able to have greater impact in the world, just like the cedar tree that connects with other like-minded, strong, and stable cedar trees with deep roots.
Oh my gosh. First of all, can I just say that I always love when I'm on the show and I learn one thing. I think I just learned 10 things from you. So, so thank you so much for sharing all of that. Yeah. I'm walking through my mind about Cedarcube, and I'm wondering, I would think, especially now coming out of the pandemic, that there's a lot of need for this. That people have gone through so many different things. It could even be people were in their home together in the lockdown, and things came up, right? Things came up that people weren't aware of, but they had nowhere to go, right? And you can't really talk about it. So are you finding that too, that people are reaching out because they want to start fresh? They want to understand who they are, how they can contribute effectively to their partnership or the family or business partners, whatever it might be?
Well, yes. I mean, first of all, one thing about pre-pandemic was that people could run away to work. You could run away to whatever your life is, whatever you do on a day-to-day basis. But with the pandemic, people really had to face themselves and had to face their situation, whether for good or bad. And in terms of relationships, that either made some relationships stronger, or it completely made people address their problems and see their relationships for what they were, and that caused a break of the relationship. So it was really a make or break. It was really a facing of truths, you see, of the way they were. So you either face the truth and fix it, or face the truth and really know that we can't stay together. We need to split up. So that happened quite a lot. I saw that happening quite a lot in the pandemic. And then I think there was a going inwards in terms of people's passions, and really what is their purpose. And I don't know if you can ask me a question about this later, Dr. Jacalyn, in terms of fortune. So for me, when I talk about fortune, I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about purpose. So people went back and to say, I don't really like that job. I hate that job. I hate going to work every day. I don't enjoy it. I was on autopilot, and a lot of us actually were on autopilot during pre-pandemic. And so we had a chance to stop and to reflect and say, what do I really enjoy doing? Where do I want to go? And a lot of people did come, to me for advice, asking, okay, this is my passion. How do I really bring it out? How do I transition from the 9 to 5 to this? So that allowed a lot of people to sort of go into that. And in terms of Cedarcube, we addressed a few of the things that people were going through. So I did have a summit. So I have a summit called Building the Excellent Family, and the last summit that took place really was excellent timing, especially in the UK, because the summit happened at the weekend of, I think it was the third lockdown in November. I think it was between the 5th and the 9th of November, something like that. But yeah, it was during the lockdown. And people were just at home. They were able to take it in. People wanted to know how to make themselves better, how to, get more in terms of health and wellness, get more in terms of their finances, in terms of their relationships. So all those things were things that were offered at the Building an Excellent Family Summit. So we had a panel of experts talk about health and wellness. We had a panel of experts talk about raising their children, because as you know, a lot of people, and most people, were teaching their children at home, and really reflecting on how to raise our next generation. So we had a panel of experts there talking about that. We had another panel of experts talking about relationships, another one talking about finances. I had a couple of millionaires in the panel, but they were willing to give their time to the community to help them and teach them some of the things that they know. And then we also had a panel about spirituality as well. So a lot of people during the pandemic were going back into their spiritual self and to their higher self, and to discover that part of them, because a lot of the times when we're moving around, we're not able to sit still and to really listen to our inner voice. And people were able to do that during the pandemic, and therefore they were more open to that type of conversation.
So many great points you brought up, and you're correct. I am going to ask you about the fortune part of it, which I'm glad that you mentioned. That's a nice segue. So we started out talking about In the Name of Love, what it means to you, and you shared that it's family, fashion, and fortune. So as we come to the end of our show, how would you summarize the intersection, if there is one, between those three things?
Well, for me, I think fortune is really your ultimate purpose. It's your ultimate purpose. So, we don't all just have one purpose, you see. And these are the things I'll touch on in my book. So, for me, I think I have a few. So one of them, and a key pointer is, what gifts were you born with? What were you doing as a child? So for me, fashion is always going to be part of me. So that's part of my purpose. And another part of my purpose is through my experiences that I've gone through, and that's through the relationship side, and things that I've gone through in my relationships, and things that I've been given in terms of divine wisdom to help people in that arena. And I would say both of those things form my fortune, and my fortune is what my ultimate purpose. So those two things form, as long as I'm walking in them, then I would say that I'm gonna have divine synchronicities, just like I did with the Marie Diamond, with the sitting next to me at that event. And I think that's the same for everybody. As long as you're walking in your purpose and you're helping people with your experiences and the things that you've gone through, you will be walking in, you will be fulfilling your fortune, you will be fulfilling your purpose. So for me, those things fortune is actually what ties, your experiences and your passions together to form your purpose.
Beautiful. On the show we just had previously, we had Reverend Mike Harder, and he was talking about peace and having that inner peace. And I'm wondering what you're saying, I think also ties in with having that inner peace. When you have your purpose, when you have knowledge of yourself and who you are, and you can share that with the world and help others, I feel like that leads us to feeling complete with a purpose, with our fortune, and living in peace. What are your thoughts about that?
I think so, actually, because yes, and I think when you are walking in your purpose, you do have peace. You do have peace in terms of your contribution in the world, and you do have peace in terms of the joy that you find in what you do. And when you find joy in what you do, you will give other people joy. And and there is a spiritual side where you feel that you are connecting to the divine in you. And my belief is that we all have the divine in us. We all have that God in us, and that God in us to be able to, to have a superpower that can help other people. So for example, I can help other people in terms of fashion. I can help other people in terms of relationship, and that's really what it's all about. And that contribution to the world actually gives you so much joy and so much peace, that you are doing something. But when you're not walking in your purpose, there is a dissatisfaction. I mean, even chasing money, just money, it doesn't bring peace, as we know, as we've seen all around the world. It doesn't bring peace. But one thing I can say is that when you're walking in your purpose, and when you're doing something that you genuinely love doing and you're passionate about, you will have financial reward for it. And the financial reward is the byproduct. It's not the end goal. You see, when you're helping other people, and I think many people say this. Tony Robbins has said it. If you want to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and that's what it's all about. And once you have inner peace that you are doing what you're called to do, then that is the ultimate fulfillment.
I couldn't have said it any better myself. Thank you so much. That is a beautiful way to close out our show today. So
Yeah.
I'd love for you to just share. Also, you've co-authored books. Do you want to share anything about that?
Yes, I've co-authored a book called I Rise, and that's by a lady called Precious. Oh gosh, I can't remember her surname now, but it's I Rise. It's a best-selling book on Amazon, so you can look it up. It's then RISE, and then also I've co-authored the book which is about the NHS, and it's about giving back to the NHS, and it's about again, just basically resilience. It's called finding your resilience. And it's also on Amazon. It's an Amazon best-selling book. And I don't know if you're able to share after the show, but I can share the title of that and the link for people to get it. All proceeds of that book go to the National Health Service in the United Kingdom. And in fact, it was launched last Monday, and it went to the best-selling category in about 6 different categories within a few hours.
Wow. Congratulations. That's exciting.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And of course, I'm also authoring my own book, which I hope that is going to be published by the end of the year. And my book is really very much about discovering your purpose and passion through pain.
Discovering your purpose through passion and pain. You'll
Correct.
definitely have to come back and visit with us again when you get that published. And you said it's probably going to be by the end of the year?
Yes. If everything goes well, it will be by the end of the year. But whenever that happens, I will let you know, Dr. Jacalyn. I'd love to be back.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to spotlight you again. Please let our audience know how they can get in touch with you at Cedarcube as well as I.Kollection.
Yes. So you can get in touch with me at Cedarcube by emailing info@cedarcube.com. You can also just visit the website www.cedarcube.com. We're on all social media, so look us up on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can also join our group. I do have a group on Facebook, so go to group section on Facebook on the search bar and look for Cedarcube Relate. It's a very fun group, and we've got just under 3,000 people there, and we share different things about relationships, sometimes fun, sometimes serious. So do join that community. You can also get in touch with me on www.I-Kollection.com or info@I-Kollection.com. And that's to do with if you have any design queries, you would like to have a custom made outfit, or if you need a stylist for your show, if you want a consultation for a book, a photo shoot, or a launch, business launch, just get in touch. I'm happy to help.
It has been an absolute pleasure having you today. I'm glad the technology gods were with us and there weren't any issues. And I do have a couple of ideas that I want to run by you, so I'll reach out to you after the show.
Okay, Dr. Jacalyn, that's great. Thank you for having me. It's been really, really fun hour. Really great.
Thank you, and I know it's late there. Thank you for staying up late to be with us.
That's okay. I'm happy to stay up late. It's been fun.
It has been fun. I'll look forward to connecting with you again after this.
Okay, Dr. Jacalyn. Take care.
Thank you. And thank Philip Chan as well. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you, Philip, for connecting us.
Yes. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I am just overjoyed at what a great show that was. She's so beautiful and has so many major accomplishments. When you think about having a design, she's a designer and she's got these beautiful collections, and then she's also a coach helping people with their relationships. Her passions are family, fashion, and fortune, and not the kind of fortune that we think of with the money, because that comes and it goes. Thank you for being with us. It's been a very emotional day for me. As you may have seen on one of the earlier shows, I live streamed our 400th show since August, and I got a little teary because it's a big accomplishment. It really means at least 400 hours, if you think about that. And a few months ago, I'm not sure exactly when, I started standing for all of our shows. And so I'm still standing. Sometimes it's really, it's challenging, but I stand for everyone who can't stand for themselves. And that's what we try to do here, is help other people. We have recently launched our YouTube channel, USA Global TV. Yesterday was the first edition of our newsletter, which is so much more than a newsletter. It's the Global Post. And I'm working diligently with my partners and also with our team for a better you to bring you continuous, phenomenal programming where we are hoping that we are helping to change the lives of even just one person. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, we have 18 shows each week, and you can go to drjacalyn.com, book your session. Also, in May, I released my first book, and that is called Behind the Green Screen: How to Succeed in the Live Broadcasting Business. This book is a tell-all about everything that I did since August during the pandemic to create this broadcasting platform. We started out on the radio with just a phone. It was me and the phone talking to the guy at the radio station every week on a Friday. And then I took the show over. We graduated to Zoom, and then we went to StreamYard. August 16th, I think, was our first show. And now we have 18 shows a week. So it's been quite a trip. And you can learn how I did it in this book, but you can also learn about me and some of the lessons that I share about my experience in the corporate world. I had a great career, but I do share some stories of things that happened to me along the way. So if you go over to Amazon and pick up a copy of my book, I think the ebook is 99 cents. That would be fantastic. So they're all of our announcements. We will be back tomorrow with some more excellent broadcasting. And of course, Friday, if you're a fan of the show, you know we broadcast Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays only. And the rest of the week, we are working on doing everything we have to do so we can broadcast those days. It's been a wonderful journey, and thank you for taking it with me. And I look forward to the next 1,000 shows. I'm just going to put it out there. And I wish you all the best. I'll see you again tomorrow when we come back with 529 Club Creatives with my co-host, Deborah Wooden. Bye, everyone. Thank you.